Today I'm going to be giving you a gentle introduction to the shadow system. I'll go through the major concepts of the shadow system and why it is useful and so effective. And I'll be doing this with a one-card shadow system and then showing you how my binary system works. And we'll do some example memorization. So, to start off with, if I go to my memory systems, I can have a look at this one card shadow system. Now notice there is only 26 images. In a normal one card memory system, you'd need 52, one for every card. However, in this case, we're pairing up the hearts and the spades, and we're also pairing up the diamonds and the clubs. So this means we get to half our images. Cat represents both the ace of hearts and the ace of spades. And shield represents both the two of diamonds and the two of clubs. The way you tell which one is representing is based on the position. So I'm just going to open up a temporary folder here. And we'll go for an example memorization. So let's say you're memorizing a deck of cards and you're using this weird one card shadow system for some reason. And we get ace of hearts, we get two of clubs, we get four of clubs. I've had this with four of spades. We're going to get the king of diamonds and then the queen of hearts. Okay, so if we're going to memorize that, the ace of hearts, that's going to be a cat. And because it's red, we're going to immediately move on to the next location. Hopefully you understand how mind palaces work. I'll just give you a quick rundown. You have a mind palace, which is a collection of locations. It can be anything inside your head. So it could be your house. The first location could be your door. The second location could be your shoe rack. The third one, the hallway. And you just make this kind of path snaking around your mind palace. It could be anywhere. It could be a place you visited. It could be a shop. As long as you have distinct locations in your head. So we're going to put cat in the first location. And because it is a red card, we're going to immediately move on to the next one. Next is the two of clubs, which is a shield. And because it's black, we're going to stay in the same location. Then it's the four of spades, which is fire. And once again, that's a black card, so we're going to stay in the same location. And then it is the king of diamonds, which is God himself. And that's a red card, so we're going to move on to the next one. Then it's the queen of hearts, which is Spider-Man. And if there were more cards, we'd be moving on to the next location. There isn't, so we're just going to take a mental note and say we're going to, we would move if there were more. So when it comes to, so that you've memorized this, and just pretend there was a whole deck that we memorized, you come back to your mind palace and you see a cat. And you know, because you've been practicing your memory system, that cat is either the ace of hearts or the ace of spades. But how do you know which one it is? Well, the last image in a location is always going to be a red card. So we know it must be the ace of hearts. So we can go backwards. So we can delete this because we don't know it. And this is what we've memorized. And then we pass this back into cards when we're recalling it. So cat, it's either going to be the ace of hearts or ace of spades. But it's red, so we know it's this one. Then next is shield, fire, and God. We would have made some kind of story out of that. Shield crushes the fire until it stops, and then God stamps on it. What I like to do when I have multiple images in a location is make it go from big to small. So it'd be like a huge shield, medium fire, tiny little God. Okay, so shield. So we know that shield is either the two of diamonds or the two of clubs. But because it's not the last one, we know it's going to be the two of clubs. Next is fire. And fire is either the four of hearts or four of spades. Once again, it's not the last one. We know it's going to be a black card, so it's going to be the four of spades. And then God, this is the last one. We know it's going to be a red card, so it's going to be the King of Diamonds. And not the King of Clubs. And then the Spider-Man, which is the Queen of Hearts. We know it's not the Queen of Spades, because we made a mental note that we'd jump to the next one if it was. So, as you can see, by cleverly pairing it up based on colour, with half the amount of images we need, rather than needing an image for every single card, based on if it's red or black, we know the position we need to be in. And that is essentially how the 2-card shadow system works. You can watch my other video for details, but it's the same thing. I can also show you how I'd memorize binary numbers. So let's make a binary number. And I'm going to group this into tens. And what else should we do? Okay, I'll just pass these. So how would I go about memorizing this? First of all, I'd split it up. So 101, 101, 101, 0. And I'd split them all up like this. So you can actually, so I'm memorizing 10 at a time. It's actually possible to memorize 11 at a time. You can add an extra digit at the beginning here and use cards rather than numbers. But that's a bit more advanced, and I'll show the basic way of doing it. So 101 goes to 5 in my system. I have assigned each 3 binary digit number to just a single decimal digit. So like 000 is 0, 111 is 3. You might be curious why this isn't 7. You can just use the direct conversions, but I didn't because it's my system and this was easier for me to learn. So this top one would be 555, which becomes a YouTuber called No Magic, and he's like a square. This 0 tells me to stay in the same location. So if I was going to memorize this number at the top, I would remember No Magic. Rather than this big number, I just remember No Magic, and I need to stay here because it's a 0. Next, we have, so this 000 just becomes a 0, this 110 becomes a 6, and this is also a 0, and that becomes Bill Cipher. From Gravity Falls, so let's call him Cypher. And once again, it's a 0, so we're going to stay there. So Cypher. And this last one, 111 becomes 3, 3, 0, and that becomes Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. Sheldon. Now, if there was going to be more, because of this 1, it means we're going to the next location. Let's actually add another one. Let's make this, I don't know, 010, 000, 111. So, like I said, this one's a 1, so we're going to go on to the next location. And this would become 803, which is Microsoft. And this ends in a 1, so I'd make a mental note that I would move if there's more. Even though I've reached the end, it's in theory if there was more, I'd be moving on to the next one. So we can get rid of all of this. Now onto the recall stage. So I put these images into my mind palace, and then I want to reverse engineer it back into the binary digits. This is quite a fast process, but I'm going to go for it quite slow. So No Magic is 555, which becomes 101, 101, 101, 0. I know it's an O at the end, because a 0 at the end, because I'm staying here. Then it's Bill Cipher, which is 000, 110. I'm saying O instead of 0. and once again it ends in a 0 because we stayed. And then with Sheldon, it is 3, 3, 0, and we're going to go on this one. And then Microsoft, which is 8, 0, 2, 3, 8, 0, 3. And this one I made a mental note to go. So that is how I use the shadow system to memorize binary numbers. It gives you an extra digit for free, just based on the location. So hopefully this was useful in explaining the concepts. If you want a more detailed explanation, I do have another video that's a bit higher quality. But yeah, thank you for listening.